Hello, welcome to my channel class 12th. We have read from the magnetic effect of current till the magnetism and matter about motion of charge in magnetic field and current carrying loop, magnetic moment, its potential energy, torque acting on it, cyclotron, ammeter, voltmeter, galvanometer, dia, para, ferro substances. Before switching to the next topic, I would like to revise these chapters which we have read about the magnetic effect and magnetic field in the with the help of some questions I have selected. They are asked in various competitive examinations as well as in boards. Then we will start new topic. So today we will learn few questions we will solve. I have not written the options of the questions. We will solve the correct option and then we proceed further. Look the first question. This is asked in AIPMT 2014. Two identical long conducting wires AOB and COD are placed perpendicular to each other with one above the other such that O is their common point. AOB and COD. These wires carries current I1 and I2. Point P is lying at distance d from O along a direction perpendicular to the plane containing the wires. Find the magnetic field at P. Where is P? At the plane, at the axis which is perpendicular to the plane of both the wires. So, what will you do? How to solve it? Look, this is the x-axis. Suppose in this direction the wire is AOB and the current is I1. We have to assume that all the three axes, suppose this is the y axis passing through O, this is plus y axis, and so this will be minus y axis. From here we can suppose that this is the current I2. So, this AOB and CO, suppose this point is D, these are the two wires. They are long conducting wires and having current in this direction. How will you find the magnetic fields here at the z axis? So, it is given this perpendicular to this plane, this is the z axis, and at this point P, the distance of which from the point O is d, where the net magnetic field is to be obtained. What will be the magnitude of field? Look, for first wire AOB the current is I1. So, I will show you that suppose these are the first and second wire and this is the third wire. At this point here you have to find the magnetic field. What will be at the point P the magnetic field produced by the first wire? Look, the first wire will produce the magnetic field with the help of right hand thumb rule. We will find the direction of magnetic field in the form of concentric circle. So, at the point P it is downward and downward towards the negative y axis. Similarly, for the wire kept in the along the y axis, its magnetic field will be again concentric circles. So, along the at the point P will be along the plus x axis. Simple. If you determine this, then at the point P you find B1 due to first wire along the negative y axis. So, you will draw a line parallel to negative y axis and this will show the magnetic field B1. What will you write B1? B1 will be mu naught upon 2 pi I1 upon d, and since V1 is a vector quantity along minus j axis, because it is along minus y, this is minus y. So, in this direction this will be V1. At the point P, due to this current carrying conductor I2, look, these x, y, z axis, these are the perpendicular. So, at the point P, due to the current I2, the magnetic field will be along the plus x axis. So, it will be like this. Suppose this is B2 Similarly, you can write B2, then B2 will be mu naught upon 2 pi I2 d, and this is plus I cap. These two B1 and B2 as per their I1, I2 values may have different magnitudes, but they are perpendicular. So, by the vector method, what will be B net at point P? That will be under root B1 square plus B2 square. Therefore, it will become mu naught upon 2 pi d, and this will become under root I1 square, because j and I are the unit vectors, magnitude 1, and square will be positive. So, this will be the answer, magnetic field at point P. Second question, I am reading the question. A galvanometer of resistance G is shunted with S. You know, shunt is a very small, short and thick resistance. To keep the current unchanged in the circuit, find the resistance R to be connected in series with it. As per the condition, there is a galvanometer, and you know, when the galvanometer, its resistance is suppose G, and whenever it is shunted with the small thick resistance connected with parallel, then what becomes its net resistance? Its net resistance will become in parallel. How will you find this? Gs upon G plus S. This will be the net resistance. But as per the question, since a resistance R is to be connected in series, so that the galvanometer, when shunt was connected, it is not connected, the current is to be remain unchanged. Galvanometer resistance G is connected, shunted with S to keep the current unchanged. When the shunt is connected, the galvanometer resistance becomes this. Earlier it was only G. Now, since the current is to remain same, and you have to increase resistance, how will you connect the resistance? In series. So, what you have to do, that a resistance is connected in series with it, that is R, and the whole resistance should become as it was earlier. So, what will be? You are going to write here this Gs upon G plus S plus R. Learn what is given in the situation. As per situation, you will find the solution. Now, you can get G minus Gs upon G plus S will be equal to R. That means R will be equal to, this is G square plus Gs minus Gs upon G plus S. Gs will be cancelled. This is Gs. So, what is the final answer? R will be G square upon G plus S. So, in this way, this will be the resistance connected in series. Next is a particle of mass m, charge q and kinetic energy T enters a transverse uniform magnetic field B. What will be its kinetic energy after 3 seconds? If you have clear cut fundamental in your mind that whenever the positive or any charged particle enters transfer to a uniform magnetic field, what is the trajectory of its path? Circular. And circular means there will be no change in kinetic energy, no work done. So, whatever is the time given, it does not matter, kinetic energy will not change. This is the third question. Fourth is, two coaxial solenoids of different radii carry current I in the same direction. If F1 be the magnetic force on the inner solenoid due to the outer one, and F2 on the outer solenoid due to the inner one, find F1 and F2. Look at as per the question. What is given here? Suppose I am drawing the two solenoids, their front portion, that is the current direction, and they are coaxial. So, I will show like this. Suppose this is the first solenoid and this is the second solenoid, and they are having the current in the same direction. So, I have shown this one. Now, since what is the fundamental thing here, that no magnetic field outside the solenoid. So this inner one is applying the force on F2 on the outer one. So what will be F2? F2 will be 0 since magnetic field will be 0 for the outer one solenoid. Now the outer one solenoid will have magnetic field inside and magnetic field due to inner one will be 0 outside the solenoid. So there is no force on second one. What about this solenoid? Suppose we consider any of the portion. Suppose I take this one element. So if you consider this current element, then what will you find? Look here, that magnetic field, force and current. This is the direction of current. Look here in this element, and magnetic field, as the current is like this in the inner one solenoid, the magnetic field will be upward, right hand thumb rule, and what will be the force? In this direction. So here this will be the force F1. At this point what will be the force? This will be F1. At this point what will be the force? This will be F1. That is, at each and every point of the inner one, the force will be radially outward. How can you find? Using Fleming's left hand rule. So what will be the net force on the inner one? That will be also 0. So F1 will be also 0. So find F1 and F2, it is written in the question. What is that? 0. Look, next question. A current carrying infinitely long wire is kept along the diameter of a circular wire loop without touching it. Comment for net magnetic flux through the loop. This is also simple. Long current carrying wire. This is long current carrying wire. The current is I. What is going on here? That a circular loop is placed and without touching it, the wire is passing through its diameter like this. What will be the magnetic field lines in the upper half outward and in the lower half inward? So here the magnetic field will be upper half dot, and here you can show with the cross. What will be B net? 0, flux will be 0. This is the concept. Next one, the coercivity of a small magnet where the ferromagnet gets demagnetized is 3 into 10 to the power 3 ampere per meter. Find the current required to be passed through a solenoid of length 10 centimeter and number of turns 100 in which the magnet is placed. We have read what is coercivity. Coercivity is that magnetizing intensity in the reverse direction so that the magnetic ferromagnetic substance or whatever is substance is placed inside the solenoid, that is ferromagnetic material, it is completely demagnetized. So it is given here that H is 3 into 10 to the power 3 ampere per meter. You know that B equal to mu naught H plus M. Learn the relation for the ferromagnetic substance when it is placed inside the solenoid, and it is given that for this value of coercivity, that is 3 into 10 to the power 3 ampere per meter, you have to find the current required to be passed through the solenoid so that it is completely demagnetized, and number of turns are 100, length is 10 centimeter. Since to demagnetize means magnetization 0. So what will be here? B equal to mu naught H. What is the magnetic field of solenoid? We have read, since B equal to mu naught N I. What is the number of turns per unit length? So we can write here mu naught N. In place of N you can write here, this is from this, suppose first we find I. I will be B upon mu naught N. Put the value of B, so you will get mu naught H upon mu naught N. This is I. Mu naught will be cancelled. What is N? This N is HL upon total number of turns. Don't forget to change the value of L. H is given 3 into 10 to the power 3. L is given 0.10 meter, because it is given 10 centimeter. You have to change in the SI system. So, 10 centimeter 0.10 meter upon number of turns 100. What will become? This is 0.100. So, 10 to the power 3, this will be cancelled, only 3 ampere. I hope you must have enjoyed it. Thank you.